Father, bless our lesson today, that you would use it for your glory, that we would learn something, enhance our knowledge of the Word of God, and that we would just be edified by it now. In Christ's name, amen. All right, we had stopped at the second house on number 17. The second house was not as splendid as the first. Now, it could be they were happy, they were crying. Now, they were crying for joy or they were crying for sadness. It does state that the house was not as splendid as the first. And some of the ancients, they were probably little children when they went into captivity, they remember the first temple. So when the second temple and the foundation was laid, the ancients were weeping, and it could be for sadness because they saw it wasn't not going to be as splendid as the first temple. It was a cheapened product. It was made in China, right? Made in China. So, but what made it more glorious? Why was the temple more glorious? And I don't know if I have that in this lesson, but what makes it more glorious than the first temple? Anybody recall? And it also does the same with our temple. That Jesus walked in, that he entered into the temple. So that made the temple more glorious than the first temple. Even though the presence of God was at the first temple up on the mercy seat and would show up and in the tabernacle as a cloud. But it made it more glorious that Jesus himself walked in. And the same goes and true for our temple. We're the temple of the Holy Ghost. And God, Jesus, and the Holy Ghost are both in here, making this temple just as glorious. But that's what made the second temple more glorious than the first temple, that Jesus himself literally walks or enters into the temple. All right, so we are going to begin with the two prophets, number 18, Ezra 5:1 and Ezra 6:14. Just reading those verses. The prophets Haggai the prophet and Zechariah the son of Iddo prophesied unto the Jews that were in Jerusalem in the name of God of Israel, even unto them. All right, they came along to prophesy. Ezra 6, verse 14. Haggai and Zechariah. Verse 14. The elders of the Jews builded. They prospered through the prophesying of Haggai, the prophet, and Zechariah, the son of Iddo. They built it, they finished it, according to the commandment of God, of the God of Israel, and according to the commandment of Cyrus, and Darius, and Artaxerxes, king of Persia. You know, when I hear them pronounce that Artaxerxes on the radio, man, everybody has to pronounce it differently. I always pronounce it Artaxerxes. So when Obama came in, how does he pronounce it? Anybody know?
ISIL?
That I was going to go there second. Yeah, what was that all about? Is it because he's a Muslim? Or he thinks he's making friends? ISIL, and then the other was
Marine Corps?
oh, well that was total ignorance. Marine Corps. But the other one is instead of the Taliban, it's they have the
No, it's arrogance. It's arrogance.
That's the word, brother. It's arrogant.
It's elitist.
Yeah,
It's elitist.
yeah.
Basically, what are they telling you?
Did you?
I'm smarter than you.
Yeah, we're nothing.
We are the dumbbell. They are the smarty pants. And that's what that is. By the way, that's a sin. Now, so this ties in with my announcements for Haggai and Zechariah. We got finished it started again during their prophesying and after they finished the job. So what put the kibosh, now, and I'm not saying that was the only thing that put the kibosh here, but what put the kibosh here? I mean, the views aren't full, people are bye-bye. What's put the kibosh on? That's one example. I mean, if we just go there. Anybody know? Other than me.
Lights,
Huh?
lights, jumping around.
Oh, well, that's the standard fare. Yeah, we had some people, they won't say amen unless you preach the gospel. Well, folks, we're getting off the ham and eggs. We're doing the Bible, Hebrews 6, we're getting off that. Not that we don't preach it, but man, we don't want to hear the same sermon every week. But there's some people, that's all they want to hear is the same sermon every week, every weekend. Yeah, I say it's I'll blame it on the disease. So what habits did people get off of because of the disease? Church. It is habitual. Right? You're accustomed to going to church, right? You have church. What other habits did they get out of it? Work. Work? I didn't even think of that one. Work. What else happened? Eating out. Sporting events. So the piano tutor came in and he made mention about sports as an example. I said, well, it's almost like killing sports. He said that's habitual. Because people turn the ball game on or go to the ball game because then it forms a habit. And you just automatically, dinner's over, you go and turn on the Indians. And it's habitual. Then you get back into the habit. It takes a while to get back into this dumb habit, whatever it is. All that stuff happened. You could lump church into that. So is it a lot of work to build the temple? It's a lot of work. And when the letters went out, probably some of the people said, well, man, I'm sick and tired of working. Let's stop working. So there were pauses because of the letter writing to, as we said here, to, let's see if I can, the letter writing that took place, what did I say here, 614. Cyrus had Darius, they wrote letters to Artaxerxes, they wrote letters to stop this thing. And so there was big pauses, and so when you stop the work, it's hard to get back into the swing. It's just hard to get back into the swing. And it's kind of like you didn't get your help. Well, now you got to get back in the swing of actually going out and doing physical work. Was it hard? It was hard. It is hard. I mean, folks, I don't want to go back to the grave. It's okay. Oh, by the way, I got a call. I know they called you. Somebody told me they called you, and they wanted to do a
Notary.
yeah, a notary stamp. They called me twice. The husband called me, and then she called me. You told me they called you. I called them back. I left a message. Just said, no, I'm not doing it. We're not. No more notary stamps. So I told the lady, and I've been doing it for 30, 20 years. I told her, I said, the boys are too busy. They just don't need to do it. So I ended that. All right, so that's not going on anymore. We ended it. To get back in the swing of that, I mean, it's $13.85. Well, let's make it $16.85. Is there any money in it? You say, raise my prices. We gotta look down the street and buy $5.95. Okay, I don't want to do it anymore. It's hard to get back in the swing. And so the point here about this building of the second house, it was hard to get back into the swing of it. So let's go to Haggai. 1:1. It does give the dates of how long the prophet was there. How long did Stephen preach? Pardon?
7 days.
Not long. Before they threw him a rock hard. How long did Isaiah preach? Or Jeremiah? Jeremiah, he may have preached 7 years. And what I say, Isaiah, he may have preached a ton, 7 years. Where Haggai, he preached, I think, for just 2 months, or less than 3 months. It was over. It was 3 months that he went in there for the job. That doesn't mean he was done preaching, but it doesn't say anything more about it. Another one that's true about is Jonah. The book of Jonah, I'm pretty sure for Jonah, that was not his first assignment. He had another assignment. He was a prophet elsewhere. It does state that. And I'm pretty sure it's Jonah. But that's the only story that you're really familiar with. So he could have been preaching somewhere else. But Haggai 1:1, the second year of Darius the king, in the 6th month, and the first day of the month, came the word of the Lord by Haggai, the prophet, unto Zerubbabel, son of Shealtiel, governor of Judah, and to Joshua, the son of Joadak, the high priest, saying. Now, Ezra, it does say, in chapter 2, in that first verse, this may be coming up. In the 7th month, in the 21st day of the month, came the word of the Lord by the prophet Haggai, saying. Verse 20 of chapter 2. And again the word of the Lord came unto Haggai in the 24th day of the month, saying. In other words, the amount of time that he preached is actually given. It's literal. It's like 2 months. All right, Zechariah 1:1. In the 8th month, in the 2nd year of Darius, came the word of the Lord on Zechariah the son of Berechiah, the son of Iddo, the prophet, saying. All right, and he wasn't. They weren't kind about this. You know, the Lord hath been sore displeased with your fathers, and so on. But it's a challenge to re-motivate the people to build. Now, if there's these big pauses in the building, some of these people get older. They got older, more tired, more discouraged. You got to motivate. Is it tough to motivate young people? What's it tough to motivate them to do? Not a girl, a guy.
Take a shower.
No, oh no, when they're children, that's different. No, what kind of work? Just name the job. What kind of motivation to do something? As landscapers, you can't think of something.
Dig a hole.
Dig a hole.
Pull weeds.
Pull weeds today. I always pick the hottest day of the year to go out and do something. Pull weeds. Pull weeds on a nice hot day. Or dig a hole. And so, you know, I don't want to, I guess I'll say, everybody here knows it, right? Is whenever the boys want to get rid of somebody, they always send them over to me. They send them to me for the day, and they say, get rid of them.
Or the cemetery.
Or they send them to the cemetery to go work. But they send them me to work, and I don't purposely overwork them. And whatever, and I've never not done this, whatever I have them doing, I'm right next to them doing the same amount, if not more, work. So I never purposely go, we're going to make this so tough. But there's only one kid that lasted more than one day. I think the one kid lasted till we got the drain pipe over the hill. You guys trenched, you got a trench and you trenched it, but we put in the drains from the front to the building. And he was going off to college. I said, well, 30 years from now, 40 years from now, when you drive by here with your grandchildren, you can point to this place like you said, I put great time in there. But I never would work where I wasn't side by side with them doing the work. But it is a challenge to get people motivated. And then for people to work, they want to see what's in it for them. What's in it for them? And if they can't see something in it for them, they don't want any part of it. You know, they got to have a, what do you call that? If it's something in it for them, skin in the game. Is there any other phrase for it? It's skin in the game. Do you think of another phrase to use? Pardon?
Piece of the pie.
A piece of the pie. I want my piece of the pie. You got skin in the game. Things like that. All right. Zerubbabel is in the lineage of Jesus, Matthew 1, where it gives this two lineages are given. One is in Matthew. Anybody know where the other lineage is? It's in Luke. So Matthew displays Jesus as the king. So you want to know the lineage of a king. It's important. You got to be, if you're going to be a royal blood, you're going to have to, you got to be born into this. The only way anybody gets in that isn't, they marry in. And if they marry in, don't they have to? Did the prince, he married in, what's the famous one in the 40s? He marries in, he had to give up his kingship, right? His right to the throne. Wasn't it like the Prince of Wales? They had to give up their right to the throne. They had to sacrifice that. And then another one married an actress. What's the name of the actress? I can't think of her name. Anybody remember? Grace Kelly? Is it Grace Kelly?
That was the Prince of Monaco.
Oh, she married the Prince of Monaco.
Yeah.
Monaco. Hot headed. But they have to, it's blood related. And then Luke, Jesus is portrayed as the man, so they want a family tree. As a slave, you don't care about their lineage. And as God, that's John, he has no lineage. There's no need of father or mother. That's why when you want to know where these lineages are given, automatically you know it's in Matthew and Luke. It's not going to be found in Mark, showing him as the ox, or John showing him as God. All right. Verses 12 through 17 of Matthew 1. And after they brought to Babylon, Jeconiah begat Salathiel, and Salathiel begat Zerubbabel. There it is, right there, Zerubbabel. So it's a difference in spelling from Hebrew into the Greek. So Zerubbabel is given there. Ezra 2:2. And one of the lineages is showing the lineage of Joseph, that side of the family, showing the right of a king, and the other is the lineage of, would be through Mary. You got to have both husband and wife. All right, Ezra 2:2. Is in the lineage of Jesus. Which came with Zerubbabel, and it just showing that he was there. Zechariah, I don't know why I have Zechariah 4 down, but we won't go there. We'll just stick with the notes that we have. Ezra, a descendant of Aaron. Ezra 7:1-5 is showing that he has the right. When they went into captivity, when they came back, and with Nehemiah also, they had to show their lineage in order to be a priest, to be able to wait on serve and do their duties as a priest in the temple. And so somebody was conscious of saving these records. And obviously these records are gone and destroyed now. But somebody took the time to do that. Why would the records be gone today? What would be some reasons? Why would the records be gone? Physical records. They got lost.
Wasn't there burned? Didn't they burn?
They could have been destroyed. No, they were burning the Word of God. They would find those. They were scrolls. They would burn that. Jeremiah, they would burn it, and then they would rewrite it. All right, so lost, burn, what would be another reason? Just old paper. It wasn't stored right, and it deteriorated. You know, those Dead Sea Scrolls that they only have fragments. And it's, I've never seen it. I would assume it's probably. That paper back there, that's 400 years old, and it's tip top. So what age, when you're in an antique store, what's about the date of books that you don't want to buy in an antique store? They're really not antique. Anybody know what the span is? From about 1870 to about 1940 in there. The paper is high acid and crumbles. If you go pre-1870, you start getting 1860s, the price starts to go up. You get 1820s, 1810, the paper is still pristine. And they can make paper, high quality paper today. To say they can't make that duplicate, they can. And so they make high quality paper. That'd be some reasons why it's gone. Ezra 7:1-5, we see here, he's a descendant of Aaron, as it says there in verse 5, the son of Aaron, the chief priest. So he has a right to it. The son of, let's not, Ezra, the son of, all right, he shows up in 2 Chronicles. In fact, he may be one that's taken captive. In 2 Chronicles, this would be right at that very end here. And it could be they're being carried off. 2 Chronicles 34, verse 14. And Hilkiah answered and said to Shaphan the scribe, I found the book of the law of the Lord, the law in the house of the Lord. And Hilkiah delivered the book to Shaphan. And Shaphan carried the book to the king and brought the king word back again, saying, all that was commanded to thy servants, they do it. And so here they were getting right. They had gotten money. They were going to rebuild and reconstruct. Anyway, he's the priest at that time. Those that return with Ezra 8, 1-20. So there's two returns. One with Zerubbabel, the 50,000 that go up. It's 49 some odd thousand that go up. And who knows how many went into captivity? It could have been 1 million. That's what was remaining that went up. And these that come back now in a second batch with Ezra, because Ezra's name doesn't show up in the book until Ezra 7. These now the chief of their fathers, and this is the genealogy of them that went up with me from Babylon in the reign of Artaxerxes the king. Now I totaled these up. I think I was sitting at the. I could have did this as just a study, or I was in a doctor's office. You know, you're in a doctor's office forever. And I was reading, and I decided to count it. Verse 3, it's 150. Verse 4, 200. Verse 5, 300. Verse 6, 50. Verse 7, 70. Verse 8, 80. Verse 9, 218. Verse 10, 160. Verse 11, 28. Verse 12, 110. Verse 13, 60. Verse 14, 70. Verse 18, 18. Verse 19, 20. And verse 20, 220. 1,754 people. And that would probably be a pure bloodline, where they can prove who their grandparents are, or great-grandparents are. They can prove that, so that they could serve as priests and so on. Now, others will say, now let me tell you what the liberals will say. Well, it says 200. Well, wouldn't that be a rounded, just a rounded off number? I can tell you this, God can count, and he can come up with the right number, right? God can count, comes up with the right number. Those that, and only the males are mentioned, all right? It's, I know women don't like it, and they want to change the Bible, say, you know, what do they call that Bible when they do that? They change those pronouns in there.
Gender neutral.
Gender neutral Bible, they make those. All right. Only the males are mentioned. And not everyone goes. Ezra 7:13. Ezra 7:13. I make a decree that all they of the people of Israel and of his priests and Levites in my realm, which are minded of their own free will to go up to Jerusalem, go with thee. Now, folks, if this is a type of salvation, he's not going to force anybody to go. If we can liken that unto salvation, and folks, it's all throughout the Bible. It's of your own free will. That's what it takes. This is a true marriage where one wants to say, I do willingly, not unwillingly. And so what is the unwilling religion out there? And we'll call it Christian.
Calvinism.
Calvinism. What is the ultra-willing religion? The flip side opposite. I don't mean Arminianism. What's the other major religion? If you're not Calvinist, Reformed Scottish, Calvinistic, Presbyterian, then you're what?
Bible Christian.
No, the flip side. It's Roman Catholic. If I'm just good enough, I want to go, I'll do anything to go. And so one is forced love, the other is earned love, but we preach the middle of true love. So we go, Bible believers, it is of your own free will. Jesus is the groom, he says, I do. He's just waiting for you, the bride, to say, I do back. Amen to that. Shake hands, we will preach in 15 minutes. We'll start here on number 23.